Ah,
The hell? Hey there, beer tubers! Welcome back to Maxwell Star's beer review. Sorry, not beer review. Beer analysis 101 with Maxwell Star.
All right, start over.
Tonight, let's start over. Okay, we'll hit reset. No, I'd have to.
We'll see you next week, guys.
All right, that's all. That's all done. Anyway, this week we're going to take something that I'm actually kind of excited for, more for the beer history than I am for the actual beer. Going to take a look at Moosehead's Radler. Of course, they're grapefruit Radler, 4% ABV. But first and foremost, let's get to the crew that we've got with us tonight, starting with the first one on the right, which is Redbeard. How you doing tonight, Redbeard? And I'm glad you got this beer. How far did you have to travel to get it? How long?
I got it last week. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
And I believe I had to go all the way downtown, which is about a 5-minute drive. So it was a far.
Technically, you got it before last week's beer.
This is true.
Yeah.
On
Those
the ball this week, baby. On the ball this week. Look at me go.
Yeah. For those who didn't catch last week, Redbeard bought this beer thinking it was last week's beer and had to run out to the LCBO, making us 20 minutes late start.
and as a topper, it's actually on sale this week.
Ah, there you go. I think it was on sale here too.
25 cents.
Moving right along, we'll go to Chris on the 10th. Mr. Klezak, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, thank you very much. I'm sorry I couldn't make it to last week's Beer Analysis 101. Apparently, Nick only picks beers that are near him and not anywhere near me, but I forgive you anyway.
I pick whatever I can get here that you guys can get in Ontario, but I had no idea that a Collective Arts beer wouldn't be available near in like the town next.
Well, okay.
And Chris made it known that he was actually in Hamilton that day and just failed to stop at the brewery.
No.
Okay, anyway, listen. I thought I was going to be able to get the beer from last week, but apparently I couldn't, so it's okay. I missed it. No big deal. I was on the after chat, so it's all good in the hood.
You're here this week.
You're here
this week. All right. Speaking of else, who else is here this week? We've got Mr. Greg in Etobicoke. How are you doing tonight, Greg?
I'm here. You can see the lovely sky behind me. I could fall off the balcony at any time. If so, Nick, please keep the video. I want it to go on. I want it to be like a snuff film or something on your channel. I'm good. Sorry, that guy is rude.
Yeah, that's why you angle your camera that way so that we can hear the road better.
That's right. That's what I do it for. I'm here. I'm very excited. Chris, no excuses. I happen to know your car gets good gas mileage. You could have driven to the next town over. You're lazy. Or you could have just done what I do, is just have Molson Canadian every week and just print out a label and say, yeah, that's what I'm drinking.
You could have driven over to, what was it, Welland had some, I think, or some Font Hill. Font Hill had a bunch of it.
You could have visited Mr. Sexton.
Yep. Anyway, moving right along, let's go over to another person we're actually really glad to have here tonight, Mr. Jamie of Basement Beer. Love the little short clips you've been doing lately. How you doing tonight? You're muted.
Sorry. I'm good. Thanks for having me, Nick.
No problem.
I'm excited to have this grapefruit beer.
All right. I'll take your word for it. All right. So without further ado, let's get into the history and, of course, the history of Moosehead, which is a lot more interesting than probably a little more interesting than the beer. We do have one comment. I will read it right now just because. Lee says, I will not abide this terrible panel review. Don't fuck this shit up. We already fucked it up, so it's way too late. All right, so the origins of Moosehead can be traced back to 1865 when Susanna Oland moved to Dartmouth, Nova Scotia from England with her 9 children to be with her husband John, who had moved to Halifax 3 years prior and was employed with the Nova Scotia Railway. Susanna brewed beer to help her support the family, with her first brewing operation in the shed behind her home. After John's time with the railway ended in 1867, a family friend suggested marketing Susanna's October Brown Ale, and the Turtle Grove Brewery was incorporated on August 14th, 1867, named after the Turtle Grove district of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, in which it was brewed. Might seem odd that we're talking about a New Brunswick beer that originated in Halifax for some reason. Anyway, story continues so that after John Olin's untimely death in 1870, Susanna and her sons were able to secure funding from local investors to stay afloat, and the brewery changed its name to the Army and Navy Brewery in honor of their biggest patrons. But after receiving an inheritance from England in 1877, Susanna purchased back controlling interest in the brewery, renaming it to the General Neutral S. Oland and Sons Co., which of course they didn't. They abbreviated they used the S initial because they couldn't have a woman's name as the brewery name. It wouldn't have flown for some reason. It was back in the 1870s after all. Susanna Oland died in 1885, and control of the brewery passed to her youngest son George W.C. Oland, and would again change its name to the Maritime Brewing and Malting Co. Over the years, the brewery burned down 5 times, but was rebuilt every time. In 1895, with the growing temperance movement and looming threat of prohibition, it sent the brewery into financial trouble, forcing George W.C. and John Oland, the 2 brothers, to sell to a British syndicate, who renamed the brewery to Halifax Breweries Limited. George and John remained with the original company as managers until 1909, when the brothers left to purchase the Highland Spring Brewery in Halifax and renamed that to Oland and Son. In 1917, both the original brewery and the new brewery were destroyed, and George's brother Conrad Oland was killed in the Halifax explosion. However, never to give up, the Olands decided they would rebuild the brewery, but it decided that it would take far too long for even the basic infrastructure in Halifax to be rebuilt to support their business. So, with the insurance money, in 1918, George W.C. Oland purchased the Simon Jones Red Ball Brewery along Union Street in St. John, New Brunswick, and sent his son, George B. Oland, who had just returned from serving in World War I overseas, across the Bay of Fundy to run the brewery. George W.C. Oland and other son Sidney would go on to rebuild the original Oland and Son Brewery in Halifax by 1925. In 1928, the Red Ball Brewery would change its name to the New Brunswick Breweries Incorporated. In that same year, the Olands expand further by purchasing the James Ready Brewery. That should sound familiar to you, Ontario guys. In the nearby suburb of Fairville, which is today St. John's West Side. Which are actually their current location. By the late 1920s, the 4 largest breweries in the Maritimes, James Ready, Red Ball, Oland and Son, and Alexander Keith's, which the Oland side acquired in 1928, were owned by the Oland family. However, following the death of George W.C. Oland in 1933, a rift formed between the New Brunswick and Nova Scotia factions of the Oland family. The Halifax Olands would go on to produce maritime classics such as Oland Export and Schooner, but were eventually bought out by Labatt in 1971. After the James Ready Brewery purchase, George B. Oland also discovered one of James Ready's unused trademarks, the very Canadian-sounding name of Moosehead. In light of this, they released a new pale ale using the name in 1933. The Moosehead Pale Ale would become so popular that the brewery's name changed again for the last time to Moosehead in 1947. Moosehead would also follow up on the success of Moosehead with their European lager style lager called Alpine in 1937. So fast forward to the 1970s, due to restrictive interprovincial trade rules, Moosehead was still a regional brand and sold only in the maritime provinces of New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island, all places that Greg thinks I'm from, plus Newfoundland. Anyway, in 1977, during the premium beer craze in the U.S., Moosehead developed their Moosehead lager for the U.S. market and began selling it in all 50 states before Moosehead products were even available in Ontario and Quebec. The lager was initially successful, but the interest had begun to wane by the mid-80s. However, it retains a cult status and is still throughout much of the United States today. Today, Moosehead is still a family-owned operation with the sixth-generation descendant Andrew Oland as CEO of the company, and his brother Patrick as CFO. With Labatt under ownership of Belgian-based AB InBev, as the merger of Molson with US-based Coors, and Sleeman now part of the Japan-based Sapporo, Moosehead is the largest independently owned brewery in Canada. The brewery is still located at the original site of the James Ready Brewery. Most recently, in June of 2018, Moosehead opened up their new small batch brewery adjacent to the main brewery along St. John's Main Street West, which includes a tap room and retail store. Moosehead has also used this brewery to experiment with new styles, as well as brew up old forgotten classics like their oatmeal stout, 10-penny stock ale, and a recreation of Susanna Olin's first beer, the October Brown Ale. Anyway, so other major beers from Moosehead include the aforementioned Moosehead Lager, the Pale Ale, and Alpine. They also make Moose Light, Moose Dry 5.5, Crack Canoe. They also produce beers for the Hop City and James Ready brands as distribution rights, and they have distribution rights for Samuel Adams beers in Canada. And this one might get you Ontario people. Moosehead also owns the Niagara Brewing Company in Brampton, Ontario. Yes,
Really?
that Niagara Brewing Company.
Wow.
Greg's favorite cream ale.
Wait,
Anyway,
are they located in Brampton? Is that their head
well,
office?
their tourist brewery is located in Niagara Falls still, but their main brewery is located in Brampton apparently. Anyway, but yeah, I didn't know that until today.
This is why we watch you, Nick, because you teach us stuff.
It's more interesting. So Moosehead Radler, let's get down to the Radler, is a 4% ABV grapefruit Radler released in 2014. Moosehead has followed up in 6 subsequent years with a Lemonade Radler in 2015, Raspberry Radler in 2016, Watermelon Radler in 2017, and a Blueberry Radler. All of these are reviewed on my channel in 2018. Of these, only the grapefruit, watermelon, and blueberry are still in production. And one thing I do notice, of course, about the Moosehead grapefruit Radler is it's not what I would consider a true Radler, because typically a Radler is a beer that's like a 50-50 mixture of beer and a light lager or a lager. But in this case right here at 4% ABV, it's obviously just fruit juice added to Moose Light or something. All right, man. Let's who's here that can Chris, do you want to read the comments?
Yeah, okay. A bunch of guys is talking. We got Rod watching, got Lee watching.
Rod?
Craig's watching, Earth's watching. Ashley is saying cheers from New Hampshire, but let's go through this. Lee says it's not. Oh no, we already did that. I don't really want to do the comments, but you know what? Let's let Greg do the comments. Greg, you can do the comments today.
I'm not prepared. I don't have a device with me that can read the comments.
How about I read the comments?
Sorry.
Yeah, Jamie's on it.
Okay, so
All right.
on the 10th says, hello all. Lee Russell says, we've heard this history before, just saying. Should have started and ended with Moosehead made a Radler. Let's just try it. Redbeard and Kent. Redbeard, Kent, back and forth, just saying hello, guys. Kent beer reviews, I should say, Craig. Earth. I feel like I'm in history class all over again. Too bad beer wasn't any of my topics. On the 10th says, bah ha ha. Lee Russell says...
I was laughing at Craig's comment. Not much about the brewery then. That's his thought.
Grolsch Radler is the ultimate day drinking beer from Lee Russell. And Ash says, cheers from New Hampshire. And on the 10th says, kisses, love you, Muffin. Or something like that. That's it.
That did.
And that's everything. All right. So let's get into histories of this beer, considering the beer has been out for 5 summers now. I'd imagine some people here must have had this before, I hope. Let's start with Redbeard. Have you had this before? What's your history with Moosehead Radler?
I have not had this before. I usually don't go for a Radler, and a grapefruit Radler, I really wouldn't go. Like, I hate grapefruit. I fucking hate it. So I really wasn't expecting this to be anything special. But yeah, it's not bad. That's my history with this Radler. It's exciting.
Boy. All right, Chris, what's your history with Moosehead Radler?
I've had one once before. I just recently checked my Untapped. I think it was back in 2017. Last summer I had it, and I liked it. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to telling you guys what I think about it this year.
Very, very nice. All right, move over to the Gregory. I imagine you probably had this before.
Yeah, I got to say, I'm really looking forward to seeing Chris's own opinion on this. I actually have had this a decent amount of times, except the first time I had it was probably about 6 months ago, and I happen to like it. I tend to buy Radlers for when we have the in-laws over because they're picky. They don't want to drink a lot of stuff, but they like Radlers, so we'll usually get them something. And they usually like Rickards or Bud Light Radler, but this I think is a little bit better. And inevitably, when I'm left with 10 of them because they only drink 2 of a 12-pack, I prefer to drink these over like a Bud Light Radler. So yeah, it's good. Or maybe it's not good. I'm not gonna tell you my opinion yet.
Not gonna tell your own opinion. Anyway, all right. So moving right along, let's go over to Jamie and his history with this beer.
I'm honest. I'm not sure if I've had this before. I've had maybe like 3 to 5 Radlers in my life. I've had Waterloo, Stiegel. What was the other one that I've had? Just look on down here. The Bud Light Grapefruit Radler, which I did not like. That was of the Radlers I've had. That's the only one I've really not really enjoyed. Which is weird. A lot of people actually like that one. And if I've had it, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna say no. I don't think I have.
Okay, then. All right. So my personal history with this is that I mean, of course, Moosehead's being my hometown brewery. Every time Moosehead comes out with a new one, even if it sucks like Ginger did, I'm usually interested in trying it just for shits and giggles. And also, whenever something like new, like summer seasonal from Moosehead comes out, they're usually if I do a review and post it on my channel, it's usually one of my more popular ones. Like I just took a look at my review that I did for this in May of 2014. I for 540 views, which is a lot for a beer review on my channel. Anyway, my overall opinion of it is that. My history with it is that I've had it a few times, and I find it kind of the middle of the road when it comes to Radler. It's not quite my favorite, not quite my, not quite the worst one. I think the worst Radler I ever had was like the Lowenbrow Radler, which was just dishwater. But hey, it's a fun beer. I've had it a number of times over the years, and I don't really usually complain. All right. Let's go back over to Jamie for a second and read. Is there any more comments before we get into people's thoughts?
Not that I see.
Nothing?
Nope.
That's it? Oh, come on, guys. You can ask questions. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's go back over to Redbeard and see what's your final thoughts.
I actually think this is pretty damn tasty as far as a Radler goes. I'm getting more grape juice than I noticed on the ingredients. Grape juice is definitely prominent, and I'm getting more of that flavor than the grapefruit. Almost just kind of the grapefruit, I guess, pithiness, a bit of the rind kind of flavor in there. So it's working well with the grape juice flavor, and I don't mind it at all. I'm going to give this a pretty solid 8 and 9 for the style. I think it's a really well done Radler. Like the grade, it's very approachable for somebody who doesn't, really like that. Holy shit, Greg! That crazy punch of grapefruit flavor that some of them have. That kind of isn't for me. This one here balances it nicely. It's pretty well done.
Yeah. Okay. So moving right along over to Chris. What is your opinion? What is your own opinion?
My moo before Greg gets into his goo. Greg's own opinion. I like this Radler. I really do. When I had it before, I gave it, I think, a Nick rating of 3.75. I'm going to go up a little bit higher here on my overall and give it an 8. For style, I'm giving it an 8. I like it because it's not super tart like a regular grapefruit Radler tends to be. I think the grape juice going into this beer really cuts the tartness out of the grapefruit and makes it a little bit more enjoyable, in my own opinion. It's super refreshing, especially when it's ice cold. I like it. You guys know I like my beer fucking frozen almost. And like I said, it's super poundable at 4%. This is 4%, right? Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah,
4%.
4%. This is super poundable, but also very dangerous. Because if you're drinking Coors Light at 4%, you drink enough of them, you're going to be drunk. This is a high alcohol by volume Radler. Most of them are sitting around in the 2.5 range, and this one's almost double. You could almost call this an Imperial Radler.
Nice.
See, yeah, that's actually kind of getting into something I was going to say afterwards. Is that I think they probably did this as a just so that there wouldn't be like a market revolt around here, because not a lot of people know what a Radler really is. And when they see some beer on the shelf, it's like a 2.5% ABV. That's not worth spending my money on. So
yeah,
they just at 4%, it is really high for a Radler, because a Radler is typically around 2 or 2.5.
Yep.
I had an Imperial Goza from Quebec that was 6%. So yeah, you can't get. Chris isn't really wrong. They could kind of go in there. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. Last time I had a Radler that was at this high ABV was at Plan B in St. Catharines, and it was sitting at a 4.5, and that was a key lime pie Radler, and it was delicious and super deadly. So anyway, like I said, my scores are 8 and 8 on this one for style and for overall.
Did Redbeard give his style overall?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right.
He gave 9 for style and 8 for overall. Yeah. That's it. Time for Greg's goo.
All right. Let's go to the goo. What's Greg's own opinion?
My goo is not allowed on Nick's channel. I'll get him in trouble.
And that's
Ew, indeed.
Is James going to be a Jew? I'm just saying.
What?
No, don't even go there.
Jesus, Chris.
Would I be a Raboon?
Oh. Yeah, yours would be a coup. Anyway.
You crossed the line.
Joe.
What's Joe's own opinion?
By the way, just slightly off topic, but every time my wife hears a siren now, she yells "Beer Patrol." It's the greatest. it's the greatest thing ever. I got to videotape it secretly one time. Just woo woo woo, Beer Patrol. Anyways,
that's pretty awesome.
Anyways, back to being serious reviewers. Yeah, so I'm actually surprisingly with Redbeard on this. I don't hate grapefruit, but I don't particularly care for it either. And most Radlers, I find the grapefruit is just way too strong and way too acidic, and I will have heartburn if I drink more than one of them. So, like an old man that I am. And I do like the fact that this has grape in it, and that's sort of what makes it one of my more preferred Radlers. It's not that I drink that many of them, but I've probably tasted about 7 or 8 of them in total. And this is, I don't know if it's my favorite. I like that German one, the Schaffenweiser.
The Weiss, the half wheat, half grapefruit.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's my favorite too.
Yeah, that's my favorite one. But this one's up there for me. This one's probably my second favorite, or maybe there's another one in there. I don't remember. But I do like it. I do like the balance that the grapefruit's not as prominent. You got the grapefruit juice in there. Is there anything else in there? I think it's just grapefruit juice. Oh, there's some lemon juice in there too. That's good. I don't really taste that much of it. So yeah, it's overall, if I'm going to drink a Radler, like I say, if I'm buying something for the in-laws, usually I'm forced to buy a 12-pack of it anyway. So I don't mind buying this because, like last time, they drank 2 of them, and now I've got 10 of them to finish. So I'm drinking 2 tonight. So overall style, it's a 9 out of 10. Pretty up there for me. Overall, 7.5 out of 10. It's very good. I really like it.
Nice.
For what it is.
Yeah, exactly. For what it is. I mean, sure, you can blame it for not conforming to the actual style of Radler by being 4% ABV, but when it comes to the actual drinkability and the taste of it, it's actually really quite solid. Yeah,
I will never fault a beer for being too high in alcohol.
Yeah. You kind of do get that, like when you're thinking of it, like if you read the ingredients list and you see the grape juice is listed first, then you really do start to taste the grape. But if you kind of just take a swig of it, you're not reading the can, and then the biggest, it's almost like the grape juice is there to be a slightly citrusy or slightly tart sugar backbone to go with the grapefruit flavor. It kind of complements it, and as somebody already mentioned, it kind of cuts down on the acidity as well. I find that I get primarily pink grapefruit and white grape juice from this. There's a hint of the rind, like the hint of that pithiness that Redbeard was talking about right there in the back. I do get a slight cereal grain aftertaste on this, which is kind of a characteristic of Moose Light, to be honest. But it is very light and quenching, especially when you drink it cold, and it's not too acidic, which is definitely a bonus. Because then you can stomach having a whole bunch of these, and that's probably the point. And at 4% ABV, you're going to notice it as much as you would with a light beer. And I wouldn't call it my favorite Radler that I've ever had. That distinction goes to, I believe, Schafferhofer is probably the number one that I would pick. Pump House's Crafty Radler is also so really solid, as well as, of course, the classic is Stiegel Radler. That's one of the biggest ones. And even Lee had mentioned it in the chat before, where he had the grape, was it the lemonade Radler or something from Grolsch? That one is also very solid. But overall, I'm going to give this for the style. I'm going to give it an 8 because I think it's right up there. It's everything you want as far as flavor and taste goes. The overall rating 7.5.
You forget Jamie?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's your opinion, Jamie?
All right, let's go for Jamie's opinion because he's hardly ever here in our goal. I forgot.
Nick.
It's always the quiet ones you gotta watch out for.
Yeah, I always do the quiet ones. He didn't speak up. All right, go ahead, Jamie. Sorry to cut you off.
So for me, it's fine. No problem, Nick. I was loving listening to you. So honestly, I smell grapefruit. I don't taste it. It's a
I
good
agree with you on that.
Yeah, it's enjoyable. And I was listening to Redbeard and thinking, I'm not surprised that you like it if you don't like grapefruit, because I don't taste grapefruit at all.
There is a good smell though.
Yeah, it smells like grapefruit, I don't know if it's more of an artificial smell, but there is a nice grapefruit smell there. It has more of it's almost like almost like a lemon syrup type of smell, taste. And it's refreshing, easy to drink. You could pound a can in no time. And I'm not the type to want to drink more than one Radler, maybe two, but this is a good one. I enjoyed it, but I'm going to go low for style because I just don't taste grapefruit. If I was looking for a grapefruit drink, this would be low. I'm going to give it a 5.5 for style. I would rather have in the taste. I'd maybe have a little more, a little drier, maybe a little more carbonation, a little less kind of like the sweetness. But I do enjoy it, so I'm going to give it a 7.5 on my personal preference. Thank you.
Very nice. Sorry about cutting you off there, Jamie.
No problem.
Now, Nick, if you wouldn't mind telling us your opinion.
No, I'm good.
Seriously, you can if you want.
No, I already. Anyway, it's nice. I believe I said 8 and 7.5, so I'm sticking with that. Anyway, let's move over to the comments, and it's all Lee and Paul making fun of my gaff on this channel because we can't all be perfect like Hulu Beer Review.
So let's go back here. So Rod says, I've had it. I liked it, and much better than a damn shandy.
Oh, yes, for sure.
PA Brunus says, had some nice mixtures while in Germany, but I haven't had too many good Radlers in the States. Lee and he's just going back and forth with Paul. Aha, lemon and orange. Lee Russell, holy cow. What a gaffe on Nick's behalf. Way to go, treating Jamie like doo-doo.
Like doo-doo.
Wow.
Yeah, you're allowed to swear on YouTube.
PA Brunus says, orange candies on a fresh treated wooden deck. Yeah. I almost went with the lemon candies. PA Brunus again, as he should be treated. It's true. It's true. I should be treated like that.
No.
Damn, Paul, be cold-blooded, Lee Russell says. And PA Brunus says, like a cold-hearted snake.
Right.
Snake.
Yeah, Nick basically just like shanked Jamie in the shower.
Yeah, I know I feel like total shit. Sorry, dude. And I probably wouldn't feel as much like shit if it weren't like people like Lee watching in the comments. You should have been on this week because you didn't want to buy a 12-pack of this beer.
Trust me, Nick, no matter how bad you feel, we think you're worse.
Oh, yeah. That's all right.
That's funny.
Anyway, moving right along.
I'm still sub to you, Nick.
Thanks. Likewise.
That's too funny.
Anyway, moving right along. Let's go to. Has anybody got any final comments? Any final thing to say?
I got going back to what Jamie said. Like going as far as the style, I was considering it more just the overall style of a Radler, not really. I guess if I was going straight grapefruit Radler, I might have gone a bit lower. So I just wanted to say I kind of get where you're going with that, but it's just really nice and refreshing and really great kind of crushable summer beer right here, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys are saying where you don't taste the grapefruit. I get the grapefruit in the taste.
I do, just not. It's not overwhelming like a lot of like. If a grapefruit Radler to me generally is not something I like because of that overwhelming grapefruit. Like it smelled when I first smelled it, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be fucking horrible." And then I tried it, and the way they mixed it with that grapefruit, the grape juice with the grapefruit juice is just, it's really really nice.
Yeah, when you were reading off the label there, and you read that it was there's grape juice concentrate. And what else did you say? Yeah, well,
lemon in there
just
as well.
The grape juice. I hadn't read it yet, and I wouldn't have picked that out. And I was just thinking, like, if someone just gave me this blind, I wouldn't say grapefruit Radler other than the smell. Like if I didn't smell it first, and I just took a sip, I still don't get the grapefruit.
There you go.
Yeah, well,
But
yeah,
it's still
I mean,
good. Still good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, they do mention the ingredients list reads beer, grape juice concentrate, sugar, grapefruit juice concentrate, citric acid, gum arabic, lemon juice concentrate, natural flavor. What? They've already had the natural flavors, and ester gum. So they list grape, sugar, grapefruit, then lemon. So it's kind of a weird combination. I don't really get the lemon, but they probably added
it first before adding the fucking grapefruit into it.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, they're just trying to make a light, drinkable, tasty drink, and they've achieved that. It's good.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like a beer cooler that they were going for with this.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder, like, what was the base beer that they used for this? Because it's a little heavy, and they call it Moosehead. They don't call it Moose Light like they do with the Moose Light line.
Molson Canadian
lager.
Yeah, I wonder what they probably used the standard lager for the base, and then just added the fruit juices to it. Just a guess.
What you call them at home? Call them at home.
Call them at home.
Call them at home.
I get that they would talk about that.
Hey, guess what? I'm ready.
Anyway, all right. So you ready?
Well, check the comments first before we get into.
Just wondering if we had any comments worth reading.
I thought we just.
There's a comment from Rating on Your Parade. We can read it.
Greg, I'm with you. I thought we did too. I thought that we just actually kind of froze.
Right, let's do the presentation to Chris first, and then he'll give the scores, and then we'll go back and read the final comments.
All right. So, am I being presented? I can't even tell.
You are, baby. Oh yeah,
you are.
Hi, everybody. Okay, let's get right into this. Okay, today's final scores are brought to you by P. Brunew's greatest hit.
On the flutes.
On the flutes. Which such songs such
as
available.
Recorded live on Drunken One.
Here we go.
Whoa.
Are we going?
Can you guys hear it?
Wait, no, I can't hear that.
Nothing's happening.
Oh, you guys can't hear it? Oh, it's a fail. I failed you.
Oh.
I failed you all. Let's see if we can play it on this one. Ready? You guys see this?
We don't see anything.
Nope. Don't see a thing. Just see P.A. Brunew's greatest hits.
This was the worst greatest hits thing I've ever done in my entire life.
Yeah. That was a total fail. So unprofessional.
Total fail. So it really doesn't matter. So unprofessional. But anyway, It's brought to you by the greatest hits of Paul on the flute. And one day I'll present that during a vlog whenever I get around to doing another one.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's do this. Here we go. So the final scores on the Grapefruit Radler from Moosehead are 7.9, both sides.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's our final scores. Paul's like, thank God you failed. Yeah, I see that in the comments. Yeah, that was terrible. Like, I had it all set up. It should have worked. But anyway, yeah, that's our final scores there. I
love that it says, did on the 10th retire.
Well, we don't know. He really? We'll see. Anyway, that's it.
You're the one that made the graphic. All right.
Yeah, I'm. You know what? Let's see if I
here.
can get that fucking working again.
All right. Get the flute thing working again. All right. So Jamie left. I guess I will read the comments. All right. So where do we leave off? Lee Russell had said that damn Paul be cold-blooded. P.A. Brunius is like a cold-hearted snake. So says the Lone Ranger of Brokeback Mountain. Anyway, best summer mix I had in Germany was a Pilsner topped up with 7-Up. That actually sounds pretty good. Yeah, P.A. Brunius said that. All-day crusher apart from a good Kolsch. Yeah. Raining on Your Parade says, not liking grapefruit kind of means that you got a problem with most American IPAs. I think that was directed towards either Redbeard or
See,
Jamie.
I completely disagree with that because those give you a grapefruit-like flavor. There may be some, but it's not grapefruit juice concentrate that's right in there. There is a difference between them. One's a lot more acidic than the other. So.
Okay, we finally got the weird thing Chris was trying to do.
Yeah.
You guys hear it?
Still no sound, but
can't hear
oh my
it all.
god.
I gotta tell you, Paul
Can you
takes
hear
2 of them just as well as he can take 1. Oh,
Oh,
he dropped one.
it. Dropped it.
How embarrassing.
Anyway, so speaking of PA Brew News, he says Ocean Spray Alcohol Pop. Jamie's posted in the comments saying his computer is screwing up. Sorry, guys. He's just offended that I forgot about him on channel live. PA Brew News says, oh, damn, face palm. Oh, yeah, he's doing the oh, damn, face palm, doing this. Thank God you failed when it comes to Chris's thing. Earth just laughs. PA Brew News says, geez Louise. And finishing off with Raining on Your Parade asking, what is next week's beer is? Drum roll? Nobody?
Nope.
Oh, all right. We're going to do Barking Squirrel from Hop City.
Yay!
Crickets. Yay. All right. So, Raining on Your Parade says, yes, there is a difference. That's why I said kinda. Okay. All right. So, moving right along. Any final comments?
My final thing on this one is it's a Radler. I mean, it's not. You can't really hate this. There's not. You can't.
Really.
There's nobody that can say I hate this beer.
Unless you really are passionate against like grapefruit or citrus fruits.
I'm pretty passionate with my hatred of grapefruit, and this is fucking tasty.
Exactly. It's sweet enough that you don't get the heart.
Yeah, like they added sugar and stuff, and whatever they did, the citric acid, whatever, blah blah blah, all the extra ingredients made it pretty tasty.
Sweet enough that it stops short of being like a grapefruit Jolly Rancher or something.
Yeah.
It's still very clean. It's very drinkable.
Very.
And that's one thing I got to say about Radler's made by companies that, and not that I really consider Moosehead like one of the huge macro companies these days. I mean, a lot of their lager and stuff tends to be very lean towards that. But the big lager manufacturers tend to make the best Radlers because they've got the best base beers to go with stuff like this. Because you want something that's clean and easy to drink, because so it doesn't get in the way of the fruit taste.
Nick, you're clean and easy to drink.
PA Brunius says macros forever. Shut up. Oh, Jamie's back.
Yay, Jamie, you can give your opinion now.
Yeah, you can give your final thoughts.
I have none. My computer froze.
Oh, all right.
2 out of 10. My computer. 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10. Anyway, I guess we'll take this offline here if nobody's saying anything.
I say the thing behind Jamie looks like a giant beer bottle.
What is that behind you, Jamie?
This?
I think it's
a guitar case. It looks like a guitar case to me.
Guitar case.
It's a guitar case. It does look like a beer bottle, especially when you get the giant Labatt 50 logo on the wall.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway. All right.
Don't present me.
Yeah. I'm just
Look away at idiots.
All right. So let's finish this off by saying we'll be online in a bit. We're gonna do Hop City's Barking Squirrel next week because believe Craig can get it in the UK now for some reason. And we'll talk to you in a moment. And thanks for watching, everybody. And I'm sorry, Jamie, for missing you there. That is really quite stupid of me. But it's been a rough week. So rough life, whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty hard.
Hold on. Wait, before we leave, I'm gonna see if I can do this properly.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
It's not gonna happen.
Failing, you're gonna have to wait till the after chat. Hey, nice house.
Wait, here we go.
It's Chris's house.
And there's no sound.
No.
No sound.
Son of a bitch. Okay, forget it. I quit.
All right.
Let's go.
Everyone make
Peace
more
out.
noises.
Peace out.
All right. Talk to you guys later.